What's shaking, everybody? You're listening to Improv Tabletop, the RPG actual play that somehow has become inexplicably and inextricably linked with Sonic the Hedgehog. I am Ned Wilcock, your host and person who's going to read a lot of words, and today I'm joined by...
Nike wearer, Conrad Woodard.
Adidas wearer, Christian Randall.
Chaco wearer, Ned Wilcock. That's why I am not fast.
Yeah.
We got them fast shoes.
So, lads, let's talk about hubris. Once upon a time, we read through a Sonic book, and we got to the end of it, and we were like, man, that was rough. Listeners, if you want more of this, you're going to have to pony up the cash if you want to hear us. Well, it happened. Here we are.
The cash was ponied.
And might I say, in a very fast manner as well.
Yes.
Yeah, surprisingly so.
The day the episode was released, our good friend Demon Download over on the Discord was like, here you go. And now here we are. I hold in my hands Sonic the Hedgehog Adventure Gamebook 3, Sonic vs. Zonik.
Versus Sonic. Guys, this is the Thanos of the Sonic universe.
No, you don't even know. Let me tell you, I've been doing some research about this book. So there's a website that I have found that's been very handy. It's called Demian's Gamebook webpage, where he compiles as many choose your own adventure style books as he possibly can, gives his ratings and reviews and whatnot. And let me just read you the first and last couple sentences of this review. My expectations for this book were fairly low, since I figured it would be difficult to follow James Wallace's excellent act. For context, this book is not written by James Wallace, it's written by Nigel Gross and John Sutherland.
Oh, dang.
Yes, he said his hopes weren't high. Alas, his fears were justified. This book isn't nearly as good as the first two.
Oh, as good.
Yeah, so lads, the first two books, those were the good ones.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and now here at the end, I'm skipping he has a lot to say about this book, but I'll just skip to the very end where he says, I'd recommend avoiding this one. While the first two books were surprisingly fresh and entertaining, this is more what you'd expect of a licensed video game gamebook. A cynical attempt to cash in on a popular name with the help of a hacked-together, barely playable mess.
Ooh, that is rough.
Sounds like my kind of Saturday night, boys.
Yes. Let's expound a little bit more on what he means by a hacked-together, barely playable mess. He has an errata section that he's put together for this book. So listen to this. The choices are reversed in sections 298 and 119. The path that leads from 82 to 67 should in fact lead to 121 instead.
Your book has bugs?
Yeah,
It's not a bug, it's a feature.
No, listen to this. On 3 separate occasions, he says the transitions are all wrong, though it is unclear where the path should actually lead.
Whoa, they're just shooting in the dark at some point.
I am so excited to figure out, I'm just excited to see how bad this really is.
Are we just really late playtesters? Is that our lot in life?
Yeah.
What is going on?
Well, because if you recall, last time, there were multiple times where, we just went in circles, it felt like, and
yes,
it didn't matter what we chose. So, this must be on a whole nother level if that one was the good one.
No circles. We're going into new shapes.
Yeah, now because I want us to get the smoothest experience possible, I've gone through and I've sticky noted every page where Demian has told us that there is a place where we should be aware that things are going to get a little rough.
All right. We did our homework.
We're in for a time with this book.
It will be a time.
Yes, because I want to put off the actual starting of the book, I'm going to review the condition of the book itself. This book, in the state that I received it, is in much better physical condition than the other two. Not as many creases on the cover, the pages are much straighter. However, this book smells terrible.
The book smells bad?
This was a toilet read for someone.
Oh no, it's like this book was left in a basement that flooded 5 different times.
Oh, it's got that water smell?
That watery, mildewy smell.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I feel like that's going to be a running theme, just something rotting.
Yes, exactly. Well, okay, there's a few things that are going to be a little different about this game moving into it. So, for one, we're kind of back to the original Tails format, where Tails doesn't have his own separate stats, but if we have him with us, if he can help us on a roll, we can add 3 to our roll. We have a special item called the Energy Gun.
Oh, we get a gun?
Okay.
Yeah, we have the Energy Gun. This nifty piece of hardware shoots out a beam of pure cool. Anything evil or eggy caught by it will be frozen for a while. Unfortunately, every time Sonic fires it, it costs 10 rings. There are microtransactions in this book.
Oh boy.
And we're also supposed to be watching for something called a zone chip. When we acquire the zone chip, we can use it at any time to turn to section 237. I don't know what's on section 237, but if we find a zone chip, we can get there.
Good to know.
Yep, the energy has shifted a little bit since we started this recording.
I'm a little trepidatious.
Yeah, well, we gotta go fast past all of our trepidation. Let's start by giving Sonic some stats. Now, the past 2 books, we've given Sonic exactly the same stats. We can do that, we can come up with new stats, or we can just use the stats that whatever previous child owned this book gave to him, because they are still written in the book.
This is like when you pick up a used Pokemon game,
Yeah.
you have to honor the previous person's party and like save them or at least use them a bit.
Yeah. See what their boxes are looking like.
So I say we use that person's.
Okay, as long as he did fast as the highest stat.
Guys, speed's a 2.
Ooh.
You know what? Sometimes you open a Pokemon game and they just have a full like box of
There's 19 Weedles.
Rattata
It's
or
just-
Weedles, and you know
Yeah.
what? At that point you just say you go to the start menu and you start a new game and you save over it because sometimes people don't know how to play the game.
Somebody very confused owned this before.
Yeah, well, speaking of confused, it seems like this child tried to give Sonic a 4 in every single stat and then realized that's not how the rules work, and then went back and fixed it. So, as this child has given Sonic his stats, we've got speed, coolness, and good looks are all 2s. Then our 3 is agility, our 4 is quick wits, and strength is our 5, is what this child wants us to do.
What is this, Knuckles?
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Some people don't know how to play the game, and sometimes when they use all 4s, for instance, they have a game shark and they cheat the game, and then you definitely use their party and you save it permanently so you always have the good Pokemon.
This game is so full of bugs that maybe a game shark would be useful.
I say we use command codes to get unlimited rings.
So how we have statted Sonic in the past has been speed 5, coolness 4, quick wits 3, everything else 2.
That is correct.
That is the correct way to do it. I'm sorry. It just
Okay.
is.
We gotta go fast, boys. You get it.
Yeah, we got it in 1. We know what's working. We've beaten the past 2 games. We can
We're
beat
calling this new playthrough plus because this is the same Sonic that beat the previous 2.
Exactly.
This is the really poorly reviewed DLC.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so with all of that in place, I suppose it's time to see what Sonic is going to do about Zonik.
I'm really interested in Zonik.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know nothing of the lore, so I'm going in blind.
I'll tell you this, I don't know who the heck Zonik is, and I know a lot about Sonic.
We're delving into the unknown.
Yeah.
Section 1. Something very strange has happened in the Green Hill Zone. One minute, Sonic had been sitting playing with his Mega Drive, a little bit of product placement there. The next thing, he was being attacked by a group of maniac bunnies. They were usually his friends. He'd tried to speak to them, but all they kept shouting, the writing is already great in this book.
Weird syntax. Yeah.
He tried to speak to them, but all they kept shouting at him was something about him filling their burrows with rotten eggs. Sonic didn't even like eggs, and the bunnies were his mates. He'd never dream of doing something like that to them. Suddenly, everything had gone black. Sonic could see stars. Not the kind of stars in the night sky, but the kind that whiz around inside of your head. It was as if the whole of the universe was circling around him. Sonic, of course, being the center of the universe. Hey, slow down, it was daytime a minute ago. Suddenly, his senses returned and he jumped to his feet. The bunnies were gone. He was alone, confused, and not sure what was going on.
Same.
I'm pretty sure that confused means you're not sure what's going on.
Yeah.
Wow, this is weird, says Sonic. Sonic might be covered in spines, but they don't protect his head. Gingerly, he raises a paw to the rapidly growing bruise. The tense changes are pretty insane in this book.
It's happening.
They're making some choices.
It is happening, it has happened, and it will happen.
Yes. We went fast, we will go fast, and we are going fast. Oh boy, so he raises a paw to his bruise. Oh no, it's the size of an egg. Hey, now don't say egg. Bad vibes about that word. I suppose I'd better find out whether the bunnies were right.
Bad vibes.
Sonic set out through the green hills, still not really believing what had happened in the past 10 minutes. Everything looked normal. The hills were green, the sky was blue. Yes, this had to be the Green Hill Zone. But there was something odd, nagging him. Zwing! A small silver object flew towards Sonic's head, embedding itself in a tree behind him. Sonic turned around to take a look at the tree. There, half buried in the bark, was the familiar shape of a buzzer. Buzz, get you next time, Buzz, threatened the buzzer rather pathetically as he was firmly stuck in the tree. Sonic smiled. All was well in the Green Hill Zone.
What?
Business as usual.
Okay, is a buzzer like a common enemy in Sonic?
Yeah, it's the bee enemies.
Okay, and every game I'm guessing starts in the Green Hill Zone?
Yeah, these are like the equivalent of like a Koopa or a Goomba. These are your foot soldiers.
They always try to get me, he thought, but never manage it. The thought formed a smile. Sonic started walking away from the cursing buzzer, wondering whether he had to head for the hills or one of the bridges. Imagine you are Sonic. What would you do? Go to the hills? Or if you think Sonic should head towards the river, turn to this page.
Oh, first choice seems so inconsequential, and yet I know if we go one way, we're just going to instantly die. That's the vibes I'm getting from this book.
This is also an interesting approach to a choose-your-own-adventure. Like, I feel like my intelligence as a reader is almost insulted when they're like, imagine if you were Sonic. What would you... Yeah, I know how picking a choice works.
Yeah, I see what Demian meant by saying that we've already finished the 2 good books in the series.
I mean, we're blue and water's blue, so let's go to the river.
Good logic.
Yeah,
on we go.
That's the kind of logic we're approaching this with.
Sound.
Okay, page 177. The familiar sound of the river could be clearly heard in the distance. Sonic didn't really like the river. He didn't really like any rivers. They were all right to look at, but he didn't fancy getting wet one bit. Sonic walked into the valley and breathed a sigh of relief. I feel like as soon as we made that choice, they were like, you might have made the wrong choice, folks.
Yeah, Sonic doesn't like water. Okay, well...
I forgot the water levels suck. My bad.
That is true. Yeah, we're gonna drown in the water level. Dang it.
I was so stressed as a little kid.
Oh, goodness. Sonic walked into the valley and breathed a sigh of relief. At least there was a proper bridge here today. The Green Hill Zone bridges had a nasty habit of doing their own thing. Sometimes they were normal, other times bits of them collapsed as you walked on them. This is the author saying, hey, have you guys ever played the Sonic video games?
You guys know, like Sonic the game.
Oh, man. Sometimes they even disappeared when you were halfway across. Gingerly, Sonic tiptoes across the bridge, casting a cautious eye at the water. Somewhat relieved, he reaches the other side. You can never be too careful with bridges. Turn to page 12. No choice, just turn to page 12.
Yeah, then why not just continue the story?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Also, our gingerly count is twice. I'm wondering how often we'll revisit that adjective.
Oh, man. Page 12. Once across the river, Sonic was in one of the many small woods that dotted the zone. All looked as it should be. The trees were still large things with brown trunks and lots of big green bits at top. What?
I think they're explaining what a tree looks like now.
What is this book?
I'm new here, okay? To everything.
Oh, man. The trees were still large things with brown trunks and lots of green bits on top. There were plenty of them, and they all had one end firmly stuck in the ground.
Is it the green bit? I'm confused.
Huh. Like a tree.
Oh, you mean like a tree? It's a thing I've seen before in my life.
Yeah. I have a tree in my yard.
Completely normal, says Sonic.
Okay.
I wonder if they had like a word count they had to hit or something.
Definitely. 100%. Sega of Europe. I mean, I know that the different Sega offices had different goals about what they wanted to do with the property of Sonic. And I don't know much about Sega of Europe, but this was written in the UK and produced and printed in the UK. So I don't know what they're trying to do over there.
Wait, should this Sonic have a British accent then?
No, he should not.
Britain doesn't exist in his universe.
I mean, there was that Sonic in the Dark Knight, whatever, where it was
that's
like
right.
Arthurian legend. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was wild. And then there's one where he turns into a hedgehog.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great games.
Yeah, so many great games. Okay, completely normal, says Sonic, just as a large brown object lands at his feet with a thump. Sonic looks at the thing, unsure what it is or why it is there. A coconut, he says, as he is unsure what it is.
Are you sure he's unsure about what it is? I don't know if I believe that he's unsure.
If I keep editorializing like this, we're never going to finish this book.
Yeah, I gotta turn off my inner reader.
Okay, I'm just going to push through. We're going to finish this book. A coconut, he says, just as the second one hits him squarely on the chest. Sonic sprawls onto the ground, but he's back on his feet in a second. Yick, yick, yick. Cop that, Spiky. Sonic looks up towards where the voice was coming from, and he sees the face of Coconuts grinning down at him from the top of a tree. I think Okay, I'm looking at an illustration, and I think Coconuts is the name of a monkey.
Yeah, they throw the coconuts. I love those guys.
Okay, so the name of the monkey is Coconut, and it throws coconuts.
No, you got it reversed. His name is Coconuts, and he throws coconuts.
Ah,
Okay.
that's on me. That's on me.
Oh boy. Plenty more where that came from, Spiky. Yick! Coconuts howls with laughter as he reaches for another coconut to hurl in Sonic's direction. Just as Sonic is wondering what to do, the numbers 132 pop into his mind. How strange! Will Sonic get out of the way of the annoying monkey, turn to this page, or will he try to speak to him, turn to this page?
What?
Go fast.
Do we try to dodge the coconuts, or do we try to talk to coconuts?
We don't talk, we move.
Or do we think about 1, 2, 3, 2?
We move.
We dodge. We fast.
Yeah, I'm going to write down 132 because that obviously is going to be very important at some point in the future of this
I
book.
can almost guarantee you it's not going to come up again.
For the final encounter. Hold on to it.
Okay, so we're going to dodge the monkey, turn to page 38. On a normal day, Sonic would quite happily have trashed coconuts, but today was not an ordinary day. The coconuts were flying thick and fast now. Perhaps it would be better to leave the monkey to it. Turn to 144.
What? Why didn't we just go to 144?
After a little while, the trees thinned out and Sonic was back in the open. Up ahead, he could hear the sound of another river. Sure enough, around the next bend in the path, there was a river. Not a very wide one, but Sonic's heart sank nevertheless, for the bridge across it was not all it could have been. The planks that made up the walkway were moving. Sonic stops and looks at them for a while, trying to work out the pattern. Soon, Sonic feels sure that he has worked it out and will be able to cross safely. With a look of determination, he takes a few steps backwards and then charges towards the bridge. In which order should Sonic step on the planks? The third, the second, then the first, the third, then the second, or the second, the third, and then the first?
132.
132.
Why are we geniuses?
I mean,
Great foreshadowing.
I'm confused. It's like, in the game, did that happen? You would just like, a number would appear and you wouldn't know later that it would be useful?
Sonic visits himself from the future by being so fast that he tells himself which planks to step on.
Is that canon?
No.
I think the authors of this book played Resident Evil 1 and they were like, how can we make Sonic feel more like Resident Evil 1?
Let's do some stupid puzzles.
Okay, the first, the third, then the second, 132. Yep, that's what I got written on the character sheet. Let's go to 186.
This will be the first one that's not correctly coded, so we're going to end up dying immediately.
With the skill and coolness that only Sonic could produce, he expertly hops across the bridge in exactly the right order, even managing a little spin at the end. More than a little happy with his performance, Sonic finds himself among a lot of hills. Just as he was deciding which way to go, he sees something that makes his spines stand on end. Turn to 200.
Okay.
There's a lot of like, you make a choice, you go to a page, and then you go to another page without making a choice.
Yep.
Yeah.
A lot of that.
It's a good book.
I miss democracy.
Page 200. Straight ahead, the hillside is cut by a small, deep-sided valley, its sides almost sheer. From time to time, Robotnik was in the habit of setting a moving platform maze here to trap the unwary. Mind you, the risk was worth it, since Robotnik usually baited the top of the trap with at least half a dozen rings. There were two things about the maze that made Sonic think that the bunnies might not have been mad after all. Firstly, the platforms weren't moving. Okay, he could cope with that. The second thing was the fact that Tails was lying on the highest platform, and he didn't look happy. Turn to 253.
I'm glad to be back in these books. I am Tails.
In a daze, Sonic walks over to the start of the maze. Tails was in a dreadful state. His fur was all muddy, and it looked like... But no, it couldn't be true. Somebody had tied poor Tails' two tails together. Sonic's blood boiled. Who could have done this to his friend? Tails! Tails! Sonic shouts, but Tails doesn't move. I must rescue him, Sonic says aloud. Sonic to nobody at all.
To the reader.
Sonic looks at the platforms and spots a small wooden lever set into the cliff. Should Sonic try to help Tails, or will he have a look at the lever?
If I remember from the last book, Sonic hates Tails. Like, is just mean to Tails.
He's a bad friend.
So I say we don't help Tails because that's the Sonic thing to do.
Let's see if the lever does anything funny.
Yeah, we're playing, it's what my character would do.
Yeah, we would get inspiration for this.
Page 207. The lever is set about 3 meters above the floor of the valley. An easy jump with someone of Sonic's agility, isn't it? Roll the die and add the result to Sonic's agility. Our agility is 2. So, Connor, go ahead and roll a d6 for us.
Whee! That's a 3 plus 2. We got a 5.
We had to get a 6.
Dang it! Good thing we got inspiration.
Yeah, for being true to character. Turn to page 162.
Oh, bots. Do we have any rings?
We don't have any rings yet, no.
Oh, good. We're dead.
Oh boy. Oops. Now that wasn't supposed to happen at all. Sonic mistimed the jump, missed the lever completely, and landed with a thump on the ground. Ouch. Turn back to 207 and let Sonic have another go.
What?
Yeah, we just get to try again. Oh, but there's stakes this time.
Oh.
Before we do, roll the die. If Sonic scores a 1, then unfortunately he's lost either all of his rings or a life if he doesn't have any rings.
Okay.
We just have to not get a 1.
We got 6.
Okay.
Oh.
All right.
No. We got a 1.
What?
That's a 1. That's not a 6. I was going by D20 rules. I thought the fancy sign was... yeah, we got a 1.
Wait,
We got a 1.
that's bad.
That's very bad.
Sorry, guys. I almost kept quiet about it, but I can't.
Wait, your D6 has the fancy thing as the 1?
Oh.
No, because my fancy things are all on the 6.
Look. So that's the fancy, but that's the 6.
Your dice are bad.
I do have some D6s that have skulls on the 1.
Yep.
So, okay, well, we lose one of our 3 lives because we haven't gotten any rings yet.
Oh, sick. We're doing so good.
Oh, man. Okay, now we get to jump again to try and hit the lever.
Was that our first roll, by the way?
That was our first roll.
Awesome.
Okay, so our agility is 2. We just need to get a 4, 5, or 6. We got a 50% chance of succeeding.
And the good news is we got a 3 again. So let's go through. We know what happens. We got to roll again.
Look, I know normally we split it, and, you do one event and I do the next
Connor,
event.
your face. Connor's face.
Yeah, we got a 1 again.
Connor! Connor!
I'm sorry.
We're going to die trying to pull a lever.
We're so bad.
Okay, I'm rolling the next one.
Okay.
We know what we have to do. He got the 1. He's killed us again. I'm rolling to jump up there.
We just need a 4, 5, or 6.
I got a 3.
Whoa.
And then I'll roll again to make sure we don't get a 1.
Okay, you roll. I'm not doing it. What if we just die trying to pull a lever?
I got a 2.
Okay.
Okay. Oh my goodness.
Okay, look, you did it twice. I'll do it twice. Let's do it again.
Yeah.
A 5.
Okay, bless.
jump.
We have 1 life left.
What is happening?
Nothing has happened.
Okay, we're gonna turn to page 47 to pull the lever. No trouble whatsoever.
That's what you think.
Sonic leaps through the air, and with one deft flick of the wrist, the lever has been pulled. Almost immediately, the platforms whir into action. Turn to 233.
Oh no, what did we just do?
We didn't help our friend, because that's what Sonic would do.
Now that the platforms are moving again, the route up to Tails is an easy one. Well, at least it was easy to someone like Sonic. 3 hops, a jump, 1 little spin, and a final hop, and Sonic gets to the top. He looks anxiously down at the motionless body of Tails. His friend looks awful. Tails! Sonic reaches out a paw to touch his friend. Tails, it's me! Sonic, he says. Gradually, Tails wakes up. He looks at Sonic, his eyes getting wider and wider. No, stay away from me! Stay away! Tails screams. He tries to hover, but he can't because his tails are tied together. His eyes look wild, and Sonic is sure that he is frightened. Can you confirm that based off of this illustration that we have of Tails in the book here?
Frightened?
Wide eyes confirmed.
He does have wide eyes. I guess that means frightened.
He has the look on his face of, hey, you guys got to me, but you lost 2 lives doing it?
Exactly what his face. And there is judgment there.
Oh, boy. But Tails, it's me, Sonic. I'm your friend. Who did this to you? You did, howls Tails, his eyes filling with tears. With this, Tails tries once more to hover, and this time the knot in his tails falls out and he is away. Come back, yells Sonic, but his friend is already gone. Turn to 98.
I'd like to use a bonus action to throw something at Tails.
Knock him out of the air.
Can we counterspell his fly? Sonic can't believe what is happening. Tails has been his friend ever since he can remember. Determined to catch up with Tails, Sonic leaps off the platform and tumbles expertly onto the floor of the valley with not a single spine out of place. Tails is already a long way off up the valley, and Sonic hairs off after him. He hairs off? This is probably one of those British phrases that I'm not familiar with.
Yeah, like turning turtle.
Yeah.
Yeah, or beans and toast.
Sonic hairs off after Tails, and he is catching him up easily when disaster strikes. Roll the die and add the result to Sonic's quick wits. We need a 7 or higher. Our quick wits is a 3. We have a 50% chance of succeeding.
Christian, do you care to do the honors this time?
I will fail first so you can succeed second.
Thank you. I'm scared.
Okay, I rolled a 6 because my cool symbol is the 6.
Okay. We're going to turn to 154. Is this how it feels to play Dark Souls for the first time?
Yes.
You're just like scared to do everything.
Can confirm.
154. Now that was pure cool with a capital C. Or was it just luck? Sonic's the only one who will ever know, and there's not much chance of him admitting it, is there? Whether it was skill or luck, the little blue super being manages not little blue super being.
Whoa.
He manages not only to spot the almost hidden stream, but he manages to leap it with a single bound, finishing off with an amazing spin, just for good measure. Outstanding! Sonic can't resist the temptation to sing his own praises. Well, not bad, I suppose, he continues, a little less over the top. Turn to page 3. Running, spinning, and jumping across the green hill zone, Sonic is quickly gaining on his friend Tails. Sonic cannot help but wonder why Tails is trying to get away from him. Perhaps this is a game? Maybe Tails is just trying to see if Sonic is awake enough to close the gap. At last, Sonic catches up with Tails and skids to a halt. Tails looks tired and afraid. Sonic goes towards him, but Tails backs off. Why are you running away from me? Sonic splutters. Tails just looks at him. Sonic is getting desperate. What is going on here? Sonic demands. Tails continues looking at Sonic and leans in a little closer to him. This makes Sonic feel a bit weird, like some kind of exhibit in a zoo. Now that Tails is this close, Sonic is shocked at the state of him. As well as the mud and dirt, poor old Tails' fur is singed and blackened in over a dozen places. Sonic is still confused. Ned is still confused. He opens his mouth to repeat the questions. Tails quickly reaches out with the paw and touches Sonic on the snout. Then, quick as a flash, he whips his paw away again. What are you up to, Tails? Exclaims Sonic. Tails just smiles. So it is you, he says, very relieved. The real you after all. Now, turn to 291.
Is this where we learn the horror of Zonik?
Probably. Needless to say, Tails had something of a story to tell Sonic. So you see, whatever it is, looked just like you, and every time it touched me, it burnt. Look! Tails pointed to the singe marks all over his fur. That's why I knew it wasn't really you when I touched you.
Whoa.
Sonic was baffled. Who on earth would want to go and impersonate him? Who can it be? He said aloud. I don't know, replied Tails, but whoever it is, he needs to be stopped. I wouldn't be at all surprised if Robotnik wasn't behind all this. The idea did make sense. All the good creatures of Mobius looked to Sonic as the one thing that could stand up to Robotnik, make Sonic look bad, and Robotnik's job got a lot easier. Right, let's go get him, Tails. Sonic was on his feet in an instant. But we don't know where to look, said Tails. Now that, annoying as it was a very good point.
Oh.
Any ideas? Said Sonic.
We're immediately annoyed by our friend, of course.
Tails is he's the worst because he has good ideas that we didn't think of.
Stop making sense immediately, Tails.
Tails paused and thought for a while. I last saw it, the bad Sonic, heading for the chemical zone. But that was about an hour ago, I think.
Is the chemical zone in every game? Is it like the green zone, but a different shade of green?
It's a toxic green instead of a living green. Right, let's go that way then. Sonic was already coiling up for a sprint. But when I first saw him, he was hanging around outside that secret cave. What cave? Said Sonic, not really listening. You know, the one where we used to hide rings for safekeeping over by the little river. What will they do? Will they go look in the cave, or will they hurry on towards Chemical Zone? We need rings.
Yeah, we need rings. We gotta go to the cave.
Let's get some rings.
Going to go to page 9. If there are not rings in this cave, I will be livid.
What?
Okay, says Sonic, the cave it is. Both the heroes charge off at a frightening speed, though at least Sonic manages to remember the small stream and easily avoids it this time. At this rate, the journey to the caves takes exactly 1 minute, and neither of them is even out of breath. The inside of the cave is dark and dank, maybe even a bit eggy. I never remembered it smelling this bad, says Tails. Me neither, says Sonic. After a few moments, their eyes get used to the darkness, and Sonic can see a pile of rings in the corner.
There we go.
It's definitely not a trap. Gobble them up, boys.
At least the rings are still safe, says Sonic as he starts to pick them up. Beside the pile of rings, Sonic sees a small computer chip. He picks it up and looks at it. There are brief instructions printed on the side of it. Zone chip!
Oh, sick!
Well, we have the zone chip. We can immediately go.
Oh, wait, microtransactions. To activate, insert 10 rings per person.
Beans.
And we have 12 rings?
Let me see. How many rings? 10 rings. We get 10 rings.
So only one of us can go.
Yeah, so... Well, so a little more rules for the zone chip. To use it, cross off 10 rings from Sonic stuff or 20 rings if Tails is using it too. Then make a note of the section you are currently reading before turning to page 237.
I wonder if it's a Chow Garden. That'd be dope.
Yeah.
A what?
A Chow Garden? Like in Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, you can take care of these little guys.
One can only hope.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Let's see. Tails, however, has spotted something else. Over in the far corner is a small needle-shaped thing, and it's glowing blue. If you would like him to go and have a look at the blue needle, turn to this page. If you think it's about time the hero's left, turn to this other page.
I mean, isn't Sonic kind of covered in blue needles?
Yeah, but this one's cool.
Oh, maybe it's a quill from Zonik. Let's check it out.
Could be.
174. The blue needle is glowing with a faint light on the floor of the cave. It looks very much like one of Sonic's spines. If you think the needle isn't important and should be left where it is, then hurry on to the chemical plant, turn to this page, or if he picks up the needle, turn to this other page.
Let's check it out.
Yeah.
75.
Although I do like the wording of hurry.
Yeah.
But I just feel like we're supposed to look into this.
Yeah, for the record, every decision along this tree has given us the option to go to page 201 to get to the chemical zone. And at every turn along the way, we've just been like, no, hold on. We'll get to the chemical zone in a bit. Don't worry.
Hold up a minute. There's other stuff.
75. How will Sonic pick up the needle? If he uses his hands, turn to 140. If he uses a pair of tweezers, if he has them, the zone chip might help. Turn to 219. So we don't have tweezers. If we spend 10 rings to use the zone chip, we might be able to get tweezers, or we can pick them up with our bare hands.
Make Tails do it.
Tails, you pick it up, idiot.
Oh boy, turn to page 140 to pick it up with Tails' bare hands. Sonic reaches down to pick up the needle. Nope, Tails reaches down to pick up the needle. Then, at the exact moment the tip of his paw touches it, there's a loud explosion and they're thrown to the far corner of the cave.
Yeah.
Strange, says Tails dryly. That's exactly what it did to me. And you didn't tell us before?
Oh my, you knew what it was.
Say something, Tails.
Say something, because I'm giving up on you. In this one, Tails is also a bad friend in this book, it turns out.
Yeah. Maybe the Green Hill Zone does need to be taken over, like, dictator-wise.
Dude, this is like if Green Hill Zone was the name of a CW show.
Yeah, I hate these characters. I hope the bad guy wins.
Okay, the needle has been blown to bits in the explosion. It's time Sonic left for the chemical plant, but before he goes, subtract 1 life or all of Sonic's rings if he has any.
Oh, okay. So we get 10 rings and immediately lose them.
Okay.
This is going really well.
So we just go the place we've been avoiding the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah, great time at the cave. Great time at the cave.
Let's go drink some chemicals.
Let's see. Perhaps, however, Sonic has learned something cool from this. Add 1 to his coolness score.
Permanent bonus to my coolness score.
That was pretty cool.
Well, we've got 5 coolness now. We haven't had to roll coolness yet. Maybe it'll come in handy.
Maybe.
Turn to page 201 to go to the chemical zone.
Okay.
It's not far to the gate connecting the Green Hills with the chemical plant. Strange that something as nasty as the chemical plant could be so close to the Green Hills. Up ahead, Sonic could see the start of the deep valley that led to the gate. He also knew that just around the corner would be the Spike Buggy, one of Robotnik's creations. Slow and clumsy, but still dangerous, it would have to be beaten before they could get to the gate. Will Sonic and Tails attack the Spike Buggy head-on, or will they try to sneak past it?
Get him, boys!
We don't sneak.
Gonna get him. Gonna turn to page 23.
What's the worst that could happen?
If somebody hadn't already lost 2 of our 3 lives, I might be a little less worried.
I don't like pointing fingers, guys, but...
Sonic and Tails have beaten the Spike Buggy so many times before that this should be a walkover. Around the corner in the valley, the familiar shape of Robotnik's creation comes into view. When Sonic first came across it, Robotnik himself used to drive the contraption, but when he kept losing, he automated the buggy to drive itself. The buggy isn't moving. It can't have seen either of our heroes yet. They creep slowly closer and closer, and still the buggy remains absolutely motionless. What's up with it? It's never done this before, says Tails in a whisper. Patience never being his strong point, Sonic determines to investigate. Well, let's find out, shall we? Charge! With that, Sonic hurls himself towards the buggy. With one graceful jump, he somersaults through the air and lands with a crunch on the buggy's roof. Crash! He disappears in a cloud of dust. Tails looks on horrified as the whole buggy collapses into a heap of scrap metal. After a few seconds, Sonic emerges from the debris, covered in smuts and oil. I've never managed that before, he says. I think, says Tails, that something or someone else beat us to it. You mean the other Sonic? Says Sonic, apparently disappointed that it wasn't him who had demolished the buggy. Looks that way. Well, if it was him, then he saved me. I mean us, the trouble then. Sonic looks awkward. I suppose he has, smiles Tails. And together, they walk towards the gate that would take them from the Green Hills to a place altogether less agreeable. Turn to page 250.
We didn't get anything cool from the debris?
Nope.
We got injured.
we got oil and smuts.
That was cool.
Sonic always felt a little funny when he went through a zone gate. Not surprising, really. Jumping from one place to another like that, without regard for the laws of nature, was bound to make a hedgehog feel a little dizzy. Even if the gate didn't affect him, the stench that hit the two heroes a split second after they were in the chemical plant was enough to turn your trainers green. Everywhere, they could smell the unmistakably vile Mega Mac. Mega Mac? The unmistakably vile Mega Mac. We'll find out what that is eventually, maybe.
Does our resident Sonic lore person?
Yeah, it's a toilet kaiju.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I made that one up, but I hope it's a toilet kaiju.
Whew, says Tails. Whiffy. Ahead of them, Sonic can see the familiar tunnels of the chemical plant disappearing into the distance. The plant is a real maze. Which way? Asks Tails, trying to keep the worst of the smell out by pinching his nose tightly. Your guess is as good as mine, replies Sonic. In front of them, the tunnel branches to the left and to the right. Should they go left or right?
Always left. That's what I know about mazes. Always go left.
That's what Christian knows about mazes. And yeah, I trust him.
This is the least interesting decision we've had to make in any of these books so far.
Yeah, left or right.
Definite consequences either way. Okay, we go left. The tunnel slowly curves around to the left, its gray metal walls covered in a film of Mega Mac. There are even puddles of it on the tunnel floor. Being careful to avoid these, Sonic and Tails slowly walk along, trying to think of anything to take their minds off the awful smell. After a little while, they come to another branch in the tunnel. If you want them to head left, turn to this page. If you would rather Sonic and Tails followed the right-hand tunnel, turn to this other page.
Left again.
Let's go left, boys.
I want to see if it lets us do 3 lefts and just take us back to the beginning kind of thing.
Okay, 296. Very soon, this tunnel opens up into a small room. Heaped everywhere are dozens of rusting barrels with mac seeping from their rotten joints. The stench is so bad that even the air seems heavy. I don't think even Robotnik would have come here by choice. Oh, says Tails. I don't think even Robotnik would have come here by choice, says Tails, still holding his nose. Should Sonic and Tails explore the room, or should they leave?
Let's leave!
Should we just leave?
No, we can explore. Why not?
Oh my goodness. This book is horrible. I just need to flat out say it so that my conscience can be clean. This is a bad book.
Yeah, I got the myth of Sisyphus kind of running through my mind, and I feel like this is our boulder.
Page 260, braving the smell, Sonic and Tails gingerly explore the dank little room. Roll the die and add the result to Sonic's good looks.
What?
We have 2 good looks. We need to get a 6 or higher. We have a 50% chance of succeeding.
I got this, boys. Don't worry. My lucky dice. It's never failed me yet. Okay, we got a 5.
Okay. Whew. Okay, turn to page 110. Because we look good in a room that smells very bad. Yeah. Although Sonic isn't really that keen on poking around in such a dirty, smelly place, he puts the interests of Mobius above his own and sets about searching. After not very long at all, he finds a pile of oily rags. Kicking them aside, he discovers no less than 10 rings.
There we go, baby!
Let's go! Let's go to that stupid place now. Tails, stay here.
What does this have to do with looking good?
I don't know.
Okay, let's see. Oh, we add these to Sonic stuff, and then it's time to get out of here. Turn to page 101. After what seems like ages, the tunnel opens out into a huge domed room, its walls lined with a maze of pipes. The air is filled with hissing and gurgling and the sound of distant machinery. This is definitely not a nice place. I'm beginning to wonder whether it was such a good idea to come here, says Tails. Sonic looks around and thinks. So far, they haven't seen a single sign of the imposter Sonic since they entered the plant. If it wasn't for the fact that the buggy had been broken, Sonic would have doubted whether the imposter existed at all. Maybe it was just Tails and his imaginations? He must have come this way, Tails. All we've got to do is find him. Tails, who is still holding his nose, replies, Well, I hope we find the other Sonic soon. I don't think I can stand this smell much longer. Now, since Tails has his nose pinched, the words sound a little bit different. Tails had meant to say Sonic, but what he actually said was Zonik. At least we've got a name for the imposter now. We'll call him Zonik.
That's so awesome.
So that's how it started?
Turn to page 217. Oh my gosh.
Man.
The room that they are in is truly enormous, and even after about 10 minutes walking, they still cannot see the other side. And all the time, the sound of machinery gets louder and louder. I'm not so sure we should be going this way. That noise doesn't sound very friendly, says Tails. Sonic smiles and replies, Then how about we go this way instead? Sonic points to the ground, very obviously pleased with himself at spotting the small trap door hidden under a pile of rags, a little off to the left. Tails could get annoyed at the way Sonic showed off sometimes, but he was just trying to think of something to say that put his friend in his place.
What?
Wow.
He said the quiet part.
Tails could get annoyed, but he's too busy thinking about how he can make his friend feel like an idiot.
Whoa.
Too busy trying to think of something to put his friend in his place when he spotted the ideal thing. Or what about that one you're standing on? Sonic looks down at his feet. Yes, he says after a short pause, or that one. Should they go down the trapdoor under the pile of rags, or down the one that Sonic is standing on?
Rag door, rag door, rag door.
Okay.
Onward to the rag door.
You sound like Hodor's brother or something.
Rag door.
Rag door.
Page 118. The trapdoor opens easily to reveal a small spiral staircase leading down into the darkness. The staircase goes down and then down some more, and it gradually starts to get hotter. If Sonic has a torch, turn to this page. Ooh, don't have that. So if we don't, we roll the die and add this result to Sonic's agility, which is a 2. We have to get a 6 or more. We have a 50% chance of succeeding.
You did the last one. I'll do it.
Yeah. Hit it.
That's a 1.
Oh boy.
Nice.
If the score is less than 6, turn to page 34.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's getting hotter and hotter. We just failed a roll. 1 minute, Sonic is walking down the steps. The next, he and Tails are falling through the blackness. Sploosh! Oh no, what's this? Shouts Sonic. Smells bad, replies Tails in the darkness. Sonic can just see his friend's face a few meters away. Sonic and Tails have fallen in a puddle of mac. Bad news. Deduct 1 point from Sonic's good looks score.
Wait.
What? We just got that.
You got uglier?
Well, no, we increased 1 coolness and we lost 1 good looks. So our good looks is currently a 1.
That's cool.
Well, we can outrun the pain, so we're fine.
True.
Yeah.
Outrun the pain.
Unfortunately, there aren't any mirrors around, so both of them will just have to put up with the mess for a while. Up ahead, there's another tunnel and no time for them to waste. Turn to page 46.
At least all we lost was a permanent stat boost.
Yeah.
It feels like we're trading those off a lot more in this book than normal.
Yeah.
The tunnels here are much smaller than before and lit only by the eerie glow of the Mac. I'm going to Google Mac. I need to figure out what this stuff is before I can go any farther.
Just before you say what it is, my guess is it's some sort of like British version of macaroni and cheese, but because it's British food, it's so bad it has like a glow to it.
It's a MacBook.
It's a MacBook.
He's got a laptop with him.
When was this book published?
The year Jobs was born.
Published in 1994. So the Macintosh had been released for about 10 years at that point.
He just had a Mac, a whole desktop computer with him.
Okay, sonic.fandom.com. Mega Mac is a substance in the Sonic the Hedgehog series that first appeared in Sonic the Hedgehog 2. It is a chemical liquid that flows through the chemical plant. The Mega Mac is a pink liquid with a texture seemingly identical to that of water. Tails has been unnerved by Mega Mac, hinting that it is indeed an unpleasant substance. In gameplay, the Mega Mac has the same properties of water, apart from its color, meaning that the playable characters can drown after being submerged in it for extended periods of time. So it's just pink water that smells bad?
Okay, I like how it describes trees for us, but it just kind of assumes we know what Mac is.
Yeah.
That is such a valid point. It goes into
It told us what a tree was like 5 different ways, and then it's just like, you looked at the Mac. Okay.
Okay, so they're just covered in stinky pink water right now.
Cool.
The tunnels here are much smaller than before and lit only by the eerie glow of the Mac. Sonic and Tails walk cautiously along the narrow raised walkway that stands about 2 meters above the floor of the tunnel. Sonic looks down at his trainers. Ew, he really will have to do something about them as soon as he gets a chance. Tails doesn't look much better either. Sonic is about to say something when there is a loud clang behind them. Spinning round, Sonic is just quick enough to see a massive steel shutter drop behind them, cutting off their retreat. Both of the little heroes look at each other, then Tails says, "What's that?" He tilts his head, listening intently. "What's what?" replies Sonic. "That gurgling noise." Oh no. "That gurgling noise," answers Tails, his ears swiveling around to pick up the source of the sound. Sonic can hear it now as well. "Search me, there are lots of strange noises around here. Come on, we've got to get moving. I feel the need to find somewhere to sort out these trainers." In most of the following sections, you'll see an asterisk symbol. Every visit to one of those sections counts as 1 point. If at any time your point score exceeds 20, turn to page 288. Write this number down so you will remember it.
What a bizarre time to introduce a new mechanic and rule.
Yeah.
And also, 20? You're saying we have to have 20 more pages with asterisks? Asterisks?
Astri.
This game is trying too many things.
Yeah. they're not working either.
Oh, guys, guess what our next choice is? Do you want to follow the left tunnel or the right tunnel?
I really like going left.
Yeah, we've gone left twice. Maybe
Another one.
Okay, turn to page 239. We've got an asterisk, boys.
Hey, yo!
Yes.
1 of 20.
Let's go!
1 of 20.
The walls of the tunnel form a perfect tube. They are made of the same dull grayish metal streaked with horrible smears of dried-on mac. They look a bit like Robotnik white coat with all of its egg stains.
Ew.
After a while, the tunnel branches in two. Do we go through the straight tunnel or the right tunnel? We can't go left, guys.
Well, straight is the closest thing to going left.
That is true. Let's do that.
Let's do
They
that.
caught on to us. No, like these guys are using the turn all left glitch. We gotta patch that. Okay, turn to page 194 to continue straight. Another asterisk, boys.
Cha-ching.
2 of 20.
We're 10% of the way there. No sooner has the last junction disappeared behind them than another appears before the brave heroes. This one has 2 forks. Which one do Sonic and Tails take? The one going to the right or the one going to the left?
You know where we're going.
You know where we're going.
Page 204. Another asterisk.
Oh,
3
see,
out of
you have
20.
Okay, I think every page is going to have one now.
This tunnel looks like the one they have just left. It would be real easy to get lost here. There are 2... Wait, what? There are 2 exits out of this part of the complex. Should they go straight or turn right? We're in a maze. Guys, we're in a maze.
Oh my gosh.
Did we just get out of the maze?
Go straight.
Go straight. Yes, get out of here.
Okay, turn to page 111.
Does the answer go left twice? Is that the maze?
111. It's an asterisk. 4 out of 20. This tunnel looks a bit more promising. It's wider than the others, so Tails and Sonic can walk side by side. The gurgling sound continues, and it's fairly obvious that the Mac is gradually getting higher. After about 100 meters, the tunnel opens into a large circular chamber from which there are 3 tunnels. Do we go left, right, or straight?
Left, baby.
We only know one way.
All right.
We got the Zoolander curse. We can't turn right.
Yeah, right.
It's an asterisk, boys.
5 of 20?
Yep, 5 of 20.
This is getting steamy.
Another tunnel, another fork at the end of it. This place is such a maze.
Another left.
Tails looks down at the Mac. It's a good deal higher than the last time he looked. If you have more than 20 points, turn to 288.
We do not.
Okay, so do we go left, right, or straight?
We go left.
Yep.
So hard.
Turn to page 194.
I love page 194.
Wait, I'm pretty sure we've been to this page before.
That's why I love it.
No sooner has the last junction disappeared behind them than another appears before the brave heroes. This one has 2 forks. Do we go right or left?
We go left.
We gotta go
boys!
left.
204.
To the left, to the left, to the left, to the left, to the left.
All right, well, okay, we found a glitch that we can exploit. We just keep following the same path until we get 20 asterisks.
The go left or straight exploit.
Yeah. You know what? Can we just assume that we keep doing this until we hit 20?
Yeah, left or straight, any percent. We did it.
All right, so eventually we're going to reach the point where we have 20 asterisks and we can turn to page 288.
Yes.
It'd be really cool if we spent the next 45 minutes cycling through these 5 pages to get 20 asterisks, though. I do really like that idea.
Oh dear, the level of the Mac is now so high this beginning to lap around the feet of the intrepid heroes. Each extra point you get will now destroy 1 ring of Sonic stuff?
Huh?
Wait, what? Okay, going to 288 was a bad thing, it turns out. We don't want to go to 288. We absolutely do not want to go to 288.
The asterisks were not points. It was a countdown. We're drowning.
Okay.
No.
So let's go back to page 204.
I guess we have to turn right.
I hate that.
Let's undo the turn left strat.
That sucks. What if we did just keep cycling through?
Ridiculous.
We were gonna do that. Oh my gosh. I thought the asterisks were good.
Okay, guys, we have to make a right turn if we want to break the loop.
Let's do it.
Break the loop.
Turn to page 272. Suddenly, the stakes have raised. We have 6 asterisks, which is a bad thing, it turns out.
This is literally just a puzzle. It's like if you just choose the right, correct path, you're gonna get through it. That is bad choose your own adventure writing. I'm sorry, but that's just bad.
A hedgehog, even a blue one, could very easily go mad in a place like this. Soon, Sonic and Tails find themselves at another junction. I love how these people implicitly acknowledged that they made a bad game.
Yeah, hey, this is driving you crazy? It's because it's bad.
Hey, Editor Ned here. So remember how we kept saying that this maze is horrible and not fun to go through or to listen to? Turns out we were really, really right. So instead of forcing you to listen through us trying to sort out this whole maze situation, which is bad audio, trust me, it's not fun. Instead, I'm going to let you listen to Connor attempting to explain the lore of Sonic to Christian, while I sacrifice my dignity trying to figure out this maze. Here you go.
Maybe you can tell me a little bit about the history of this while we try and figure stuff out.
Yes, Sonic is a demigod, born of the hatred of mankind. Chaos, his ultimate foe, is re-emerging because of a greedy egg named Dr. Ivan Robotnik Eggman. He tried to cure cancer, and when he did, he tried to sell it to the Ronald McDonald Corporation for $9 billion.
Man, this lore goes deep.
But they couldn't pony up, so instead, he became an egg and forgot how to cure cancer. Anyway, Chaos is back, and he's destroying city after city, so Sonic has to get a bunch of rocks and shoot them at him. The end.
And that's how Nintendo got it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Knuckles is a failed experiment. They were trying to cross some expired Pepsi with an angry clown.
And what year is this all taking place?
This is 1830.
Okay.
AKA the period of time, the phantom time hypothesis, which states there was a flaw in the Roman calendar, so everything just stopped for a while. This is when the lore of Sonic happened.
So in the forgotten years, that's Sonic.
So Tikal and her friend Cream Cheese, the bunny, need to save Tikal's tribe by getting all the Chaos Emeralds.
Okay, are we back into real canon now?
Yes.
There's someone named Cream Cheese in the real canon.
She's a rabbit. Save your questions for later. We haven't even got to Gex yet, or Leon.
Leon?
Gex is a crocodile musician, okay?
What's Leon?
Leon's a ninja, chameleon. Anyway, Big the Cat is a fisherman, and his best friend is a frog. And one day, his frog Froggy swallows one of the Chaos Emeralds, and chaos forms around him and becomes this literal kaiju. I know I like using that word kaiju, but I'm not overusing it here. And then you have to fishing minigame your friend Froggy out of Chaos's gullet, and then you win.
Is that like...
It's such an easy boss fight, but...
Speaking of winning, I found a thing.
You found a way out of the endless left and right?
Yes, page 151. Slowly the tunnel gets wider and wider and begins to climb uphill. The level of the map begins to drop as they climb. Finally, they turn one more corner in the tunnel and come face to face with a huge archway. "I know this place!" exclaims Sonic. "The gate to the aquatic ruin isn't far from here. We've made it, Tails." Through the archway, they can almost smell the fresh air already. Turn to page 42.
Sick.
Well, folks, this is off to a great start, isn't it? 1/3 of the way through the book, and we've already burned through 2/3 of the lives that we were given to start with. It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it at all. The worst of it is over, in my personal opinion. There's a lot of wacky stuff in the remainder of this book, but you have struggled through the worst parts of it with us, and in my opinion, it does only get better. Still gets weird, but it improves through the remainder of the book. So next week, we'll be back with part 2 of 3, and then a quick programming reminder in case you didn't hear our announcement from last week. After we finish up this book, we're going to be returning with fake campaigns in the month of November, and the first one we're coming back with is Starboo Valley, a conglomeration of Stardew Valley and Ghostbusters that I'm very excited for. More details on that will be forthcoming, but for the time being, expect more Sonic next week, and much love and stuff, everybody. I'll catch you next time on Improv Tabletop.
I just want to give a technical note for this part, just so you guys are aware. I do only have 41 hours left of recording time on my computer right now. So, depending on how long we're in the sewer, I may have to take a break.
Oh, boy. Okay, so I'm just reviewing real quick what exactly happens if we can't make it out of the maze.
We die.
It's a sad day for Mobius. You have allowed Sonic and Tails to become so soaked in Mac that they have lost their special abilities forever. Eventually, they'll make it out on their own, but their days of being superheroes are over. Looks like Zonik has won. Your adventure ends here. So they don't drown. They just become so stinky that they can't run fast anymore.
You can't outrun the stank.